How the Julien effect got its name. Einstein's light beam, Galileo's gravity experiment, and Schrödinger's cat are well-known hypothetical thought experiments that paint an immediate picture in the mind of the reader. The Julien effect is similar. The scientific community has acknowledged the existence of an attractive force within every atom. This force is insignificant and is generally ignored, but no matter how insignificant it may be, it still exists. To ignore this weak force is to ignore Isaac Newton's third law. For every action, there's an equal and opposite reaction. Newton didn't specify any limits to this law. So no matter how insignificant the action may be, it must still produce an equal and opposite reaction. By ignoring the original action, the opposite reaction is also being ignored. Therein lies the problem, because in this case, the opposite reaction turns out to be the hitherto unrecognized principle of nature that Hubble and his colleagues were looking for. It's no wonder they didn't find it. It has always been ignored. Allow me to introduce Pharoah ants. They are the length of 3 salt crystals and can pass through the eye of an ordinary sewing needle. They are among the world's smallest ants. We will use one of these tiny ants for the following thought experiment. His name is Julien, named after Julian Stanford, who was a close friend. One day, Julien is walking along minding his own business. The queen ant sees him and calls him over. "Hello, Julien. I've been told that you love to dig. Is that true?" "Yes, I do," said Julien. The queen replies, "I'm glad to hear that, because I'm going to move the colony soon, and I'd like you to go to the far side of the meadow and dig a test hole. I'll send you some help later." The queen has spoken, so off goes Julien. He crosses the meadow, finds a likely place, and starts digging. Poor Julien. Help never comes, but he digs steadily for 70 days, and then he dies, because that's the lifespan of a Pharoah ant. The amount of dirt that came out of his hole is so insignificant that a human being walking by would never even notice such a tiny amount. But we are not done with little Julien. We bring him back to life and have him dig for 10 million years. Not surprisingly, his pile of dirt slowly accumulates until it is the size of an enormous mountain, which can no longer be considered insignificant. The lesson to be learned here is that anything, no matter how insignificant it may be, can manifest into something significant if it's given enough time. This same principle applies to the weak, insignificant, attractive force within atoms. After accumulating for millions of years, it can become just as significant as Julien's mountain. That's the Julien effect, and hopefully that is the mental picture one sees.